Okay, so this video is going to show you how you browse and search, find, and favorite documents. So you're back on the login page. You log in. And basically there are two ways to find documents. You can browse for them or you can search for them. So you look here under My Documents, over here, open it up. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to browse. So we'll click Browse. And you'll see here these categories are mirroring the admin manual, health services manual, board manual, and volunteer manual that PPT already has to organize our documents. So say what you were looking for is you wanted to find the PD request form. So you could go into the administrative manual. Whoops. You'd want to actually press this little X. If you press the word, it shows you every single document in the manual. If you press the little X, it'll show you all of the subcategories, so the files. Scroll down to professional development. Down here, it's alphabetical. And here you can see the PD policy, the PD procedures, the reporting form, and the initial request form. So maybe I want to check in the procedures to see what I'm entitled to. And here are the procedures. I'm going to open it up a little wider. And you can see, okay, yep, I'm entitled to, this much PD prorated to my FTE status. And I can read a little further down. And, okay, how do I go about submitting a PD request? Okay, yep, here are the steps I would follow. And so now, yep, I want to go ahead and submit a PD request. So I can click on the form here and it should link. Let's open it. And here is the PD request form. So what you can do from here is you can print it or download it depending on what the form is and what you want to do with it. So one other thing to show you here is if this is a document that you find yourself coming back to over and over again, and you don't want to go through the whole step of the browsing and the searching, you want it as a favorite, you can click this little star up here on the top left. You get a little note, this was added to our favorites. So we'll come back and take a look at where you can find your favorites later, but just know that this form is now a favorite. So let's go back to the procedures to show you something else. When you're looking at a procedure, you're looking at the document. When you're looking at the document, you're looking at the content initially. You can also find out the metadata about the document itself. So who created it? When was it last edited? All that kind of information. So that's up here under the Overview tab. So if you click it, this is showing you all of that background data that used to be sort of on a stamp on all of our policies and procedures. So you can see that professional development policy and procedures was originally created in 1998. Where it says date created here, that just means the date created in policy text. So it's when I uploaded it. Down here, you can see the external review date. That means it was reviewed externally to policy text. So we reviewed it in January 2018. It's reviewed every 48 months. Its next review will be in 2022. It's owned by Sarah. In this scenario, I'm just the content creator because I uploaded it, the various writers, and who approves it. So yeah, here's all that information. Great. So now that we know how to browse for documents, let's look at an example of how you can search for documents. So we can go back to our section over here with documents and click search. Okay. So one thing to know about the search is that if you are in the search field, it's only going to be searching the document titles, not the words within the documents or keywords that are attached. So I wanted to show you how you would do that. These three little dots here open up a more advanced search feature. And you put in the word that you want to find up here, and down here you can choose the title, full text, keywords, reference number, or all of the above. We're not really using the reference number, so that's not relevant. Full text is pretty self-explanatory, and obviously if you search for a word that shows up a lot like client, you're going to get hundreds of documents. And then keywords are things that I have manually added to the system. That is the wording or vernacular that might not be formally used in the document or in the document title, but it's something that we commonly use at PPT. So let me show you an example. An example for I wanted to use is TOIs. Do any of you actually know the name of the forms that clients complete when requesting their chart? Probably not. We all just call it TOIs, transfer of information. So why don't we look at it, type it in, TOI. Click search. And what comes up here is all of the information, all of the documents that I have tagged that are relevant to TOIs. So the form that clients complete is actually called the request for access form. The procedures are client access and correction procedures. And this is a letter that is a template letter that we accompany with when we send off medical records. Let's try another. We'll do a full text one, and let's try protest. So we can choose those three little dots, click full text, find protest. So here you can see that these are all the documents in which protest is not a keyword, it's not in the title, but they all somehow talk about protests within their content. And so here it is, threat response and lockdown procedures is, in my example, is what I was looking for. It's the OH&S steps for what to do in the event of a protest. So we can click it. And of course, this document is 12 pages and maybe you want to move quickly, so you can always just do that good old-fashioned Control F, type it in again, protest, and then you can find in this case, 6 times that protests are mentioned in this document, and just skip through. And that's just that little arrow over here, just like you would in any Word or PDF document you were using. So the last thing I want to show you really quickly was that favorites. So back over here again, you have your documents, you can search, you can browse, or you can click on your favorites. So if you remember, we favorited that professional development request form because, I think it's a document that I'll probably use a lot and I don't want to have to go through all of the clicks to find it. I click my favorites and there it is. Now another nice feature of PolicyTek, instead of saving a version of the PD request form to your personal drive or on a desktop, is that if anything changes, you're not going to have an updated version. But in PolicyTek, if you favorite the document, if this request form ever changes, if we add another element to it or whatever, it's just reviewed and changed, you'll always have the most recent and most up-to-date copy in your favorites section. So that's it. So that is how you find documents and favorite them. Thanks.